Hello students, it's Mr. Eddie and I hope you are staying well. Today I will be teaching a new lesson for 6th graders. So here we begin. Today's topic will be on kites from Unit 5. So let's begin. In this lesson, you will be studying spider graphs and revise mind map. How to show the connection between these two diagrams. And then also we will learn some new words and we have some practice on it. And then we will move on to looking for information, but two different information. The main ideas and how to define detailed information. At the end of the lesson, we will use these information to write a summary, but also using the map we are studying in the beginning of the lesson. So, in this lesson, you will need your course book and of course your notebooks and stationeries. So I want you ready them before we start the lesson. Okay, as we studied before, you know what spider graph is. So I want you to develop a spider graph on the topic of kites and put the relevant ideas around that topic. Okay, I wait for you for 30 seconds, but keep in your mind that your spider graph should collect any ideas that pops into your mind. You don't have to waste a lot of time on it. Okay? And also, there is no right or wrong answer. To make it more faster, maybe you can use keywords or phrases. All right. I believe that you got some ideas around that topic. So, let's compare how spider graph is different from mind map. Okay, spider graph is usually quick, so you can just write any ideas in relation to the given topic. But mind map requires some time. You need to take some time and thinking deeper to organize these ideas. So it requires higher order thinking skill. Spider graph only based on brainstorming or to collect the ideas, but mind map is dedicated for organizing ideas to show logical connections. And its spider graph is easy to build, but mind map show relations. So you need lots of arrows and links to show these information. And in the spider graph, there is no order. You can start anywhere you like. But in the mind map, there is also no order, but there should be groupings and labelings. That's why it's how organize the information. So, maybe you can start with spider graph, but to digest your information from any type of text or information, you can move on to mind map. That will help you to keep the information in your long-term memory. So, the next activity will be about the vocabulary. On your page 55, you will see a text kite. To save the time and utilize this moment, we will be only using the extract, first paragraph of that passage, okay? And you will see these words are highlighted in that part. The first one, approximately. The second one, ideal. The third one, resilient. The fourth one, motive. Okay. Now, I want you to write down these words on your notebook and think of similar ideas or synonyms that can represent the exact same meaning or closer meaning of these words. Okay? Why do we need these vocabulary is to fully understand the text. Okay? I'll wait for a while and then we will reveal the meanings of this word. Okay, so approximately, it means nearly or close to. Hope that you got the answer. The second one, ideal, like ideal person. That means like perfectly suited to your requirements or desire, like that. So it means perfect or as you imagined. Resilient. Resilient means very tough or bold, but it's also an ability to being resistant on something. For example, like the task was very difficult, but you push and force yourself to keep moving. It's kind of a mentality that you can develop throughout the time, okay? So it's not just the simple word like tough or bold, and it also means resistant. Motives, okay, it means concept or an idea. Hope you know the one of the band names Motives, right? So that means idea. Okay, now let's start reading the paragraph 1. It's an introduction part of the text. Kites were used approximately 2,800 years ago in China, where materials ideal for kites were readily available. Silk fabric for the sail material, fine, strong silk for the flying line, and the resilient bamboo for the lightweight framework. Ancient medieval Chinese sources list the use of kites for measuring distances, testing the wind, lifting the man, signaling, and communication for military operations. The earliest known Chinese kites were flat, not bowed, and often rectangular. Later, tailless kites were developed. Kites were decorated with mythological motifs and legendary figures, some fitted with strings and whistles to make musical sounds. Okay, hope you somehow understood what's expressed in the passage, right? What was the topic? The kites, right? So all these information is trying to give you what kite is all about, but only in the introduction part, right? So now it's time to look for different types of information, okay? So we will look for detailed information and also we will look for major or key points, okay? The details are usually tiny chunks of information for very specific purposes, okay? It's like the Christmas decoration, okay? Light bulbs or like the toys or a candy can on the Christmas tree, okay? It makes the text more digestible and more interesting. So these types of detailed information usually answers when or where or how often, which, like that, and why. Okay? They have very specific function to provide the readers a tiny piece of information. For example, the question when asks time-related information. As you can see from the text, 2,800 years ago, or ancient medieval Chinese, like that. And where in China, and how was the kite made? Maybe made of silk fabric, resilient bamboo, or how was it decorated with the legendary figures, like that. So it's giving only very specific tiny information. But if you look at the major or key points, It was introducing kite, right? So let's look at the first key point. It was talking about origination and the materials. And in the second key point, it was talking about how was it used and why was it used. In the last part of the first paragraph, it was talking about decorations, right? So simply details the informations are very specific idea, very small idea. And the main idea is mostly the general, bigger picture of the text, or it can be implied meaning. Why I'm saying this is because sometimes small chunks of information comes together and express the hidden meaning or the main idea. So it doesn't, sometimes it's not expressed literally. Okay, so in summary writing, you will need only key points, and also it has to exclude additional information or the details. Don't worry, I will explain this information on the graph so you can fully understand. And also in summary writing, you have to use your own words, and you can rephrase some of the expressions from the text. Lastly, it has to be very short and dense, okay? It's more likely, summary writing is more likely rewriting the passage, but with the more quality and the dense content. Okay, now, students, I would like you encouraged to develop a mind map based on the knowledge that we have developed so far. We learned what's the difference between spider graph and the mind map, but I want you to develop a mind map now. But this time, you will be using the information given from the passage. Okay, paragraph 1 about the kites. And keep it in your mind that your summary writing and the mind map are connected, which means you need to use only key ideas to develop your graph, okay? So I want you ready yourself, and in the center of your notebook, I want you to put the title and put the paragraphs around that topic, okay? Paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. But this time we will only focus on paragraph 1, the introduction part. So let's build the map together. Does it look similar to yours? Okay, so this time let's do it together. So as you see, in the paragraph 1, we had 3 main key points or major ideas. These were origin, and the next one was purpose, and the last one was design and decoration. In the origin and material part, you can see the information about like fine silk or resilient bamboo, or you even got the information about like the time and the place, right? In China, it was from China. In the purpose section, you found out how kites were used, right? In what specific purposes. Sometimes it was testing the wind, measuring the wind, something like that. So let's write a couple of examples here. Lifting men for military operations. You can draw all of them, okay, stated or mentioned in the text. But this time I'm just writing a couple of them, okay? There are more. In the design section, it was talking about the shapes, right? From the shapes, you can talk about mostly the kites were rectangular. And the design part was also talking about decoration. So in this part, it was like mythological motifs and legendary figures like that. Okay, hope you had developed exact same diagram with me. Maybe more better than mine with lots of ideas. Okay, so let's see how mind map is connected or maybe utilized for writing summary. Okay, as you can see, fine silk, resilient bamboo, 2,800 years ago in China. What kind of information do you think they are? If you answered they are details, that's right. They are giving very small informations as individual, right? So these are details. How about these information? Okay, circled in green. What type of information are they? You're right. These are major ideas or the key points in the text. Now you see, in summary of writing, it should hold only key ideas. It doesn't need any detailed information, and it has to be short. So maybe it would be a good start to use mind map in order to develop your summary writing skill. So you can see what's important and what's not important. You can see we don't need to write resilient bamboo or where it was coming from like that. And we can only focus on these three information. So let's see, how can we write the sample summary for this text? So let's see the sample summary. If you remember, there were three key major points, right? Region and design and the purpose. So we have to include these three ideas in the summary. So let's see the first one. The text introduced where kites were originated and what was it made of. So it's only talking about the first key point, right? But it's not the complete summary. Then the passage talks about how kites were used, such as hitting and lifting men or communicating in a military operations, or just measuring the wind. As you can see, the information written in the bracket seems to be details, right? So you can exclude them. You can keep that away in your summary. But as an author, if you wish to have it in your summary, maybe you can include them. That was the key point too. Also, there is the third key point, which can be summarized as the author presented common features and the decoration of kites in paragraph 1. Right? So, when these three comes together, it may be considered as a complete summary of paragraph 1. And also, I want you to pay attention to the bold words. Instead of using just the one word like text, the text, you can use the text or the passage, or maybe you can talk about the writer, right? And also pay attention to the underlined words. These are the directory verbs. It helps you to explain your answer or idea. And instead of also using repetitive words, you can come up with many different types of words that help you pass down the information to your reader. So keep it in your mind that summary is exactly the same information of the original text, but it's written in a different style. It has to be part of your work. So you have to use your own word. And also, it's very useful when you're taking notes. It also helps you save some time and also digest the information. Maybe you can recall it easily when you need it later. Okay, this is the end of our lesson today. But before we finish, let's wrap up today's topic and take a look back on the learning objectives. So in this lesson, we revised what spider graph was and how it's connected to the mind map. So as you know, mind map is more better and help you organize the information and ideas. And also we learned some vocabulary, but that's not the all. And you will find another words you have to study in the remaining part of the text. And also in this lesson, we talked about detailed information in the major ideas or the key points, you name it. Okay? And how we can find these two types of information. So you have to ask yourself these types of questions. Okay? If it's answering how, why, where, when, and with the specific purposes. If it's giving you this small idea, small information, that's where you talk about detailed information. If it's talking about the very general, sometimes it's not literally word by word expressed, it can be implied. That's where your major ideas. Okay? Maybe you can use a mind map to find your major ideas. Okay? That will help you to practice and build your skill. And lastly, but not the least, we studied summary writing, and we studied about 4 features, right? It has to be very short, it has to include only major ideas, you have to remove the details, and it has to be written by your own words, okay? You can't copy the words from the text. It's not your work. Summary writing should be your work, okay? Hope you enjoyed my lesson today, and thank you for today.